Hello everyone, it's Casty here and welcome back to my channel. Sorry my brows are so in your face. I didn't realize, and then I came on camera and I was like, but I don't really know how to fix that without taking them completely off. So it's gonna be a strong brow for you today. But today's video is going to be a book haul, and I'm so excited for this book haul. It's my first book haul on this channel. It's a big one. It's a hefty one. I have 20 plus books in this haul. Normally I don't buy this many books at once, especially when all these books on my bookshelf I haven't read. I have a lot of books to read, but I bought more. So you know, that's really smart. Having this channel has made me want to buy more books and more talked about books because I kind of just read books as I find them. I bought some books that I hear a lot about on BookTube, and then some just random ones that I find when I'm browsing in chapters. So I also have a pimple right above my lip, so sorry if that's annoying. So I have books from Chapters/Indigo, Amazon, and from the book outlet, so let's just get into it. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both of those would mean the world to me. Comment down below any books that you've gotten recently, any recommendations you have for me, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from me. And let's just get into the book haul, because this is gonna take forever. What I got from Amazon was two different series. The first one is the Truly Devious trilogy. It was much cheaper than it was on sale, and then it was already cheaper than it was at Chapters. Chapters and Indigo are like Barnes & Noble in Canada, if you didn't know. I'm like super excited for this series. Mel Reeds always says if you're gonna read this, honestly just buy the whole trilogy, because this book and The Vanishing Stair both end on cliffhangers, so you're gonna want this and The Hand on the Wall. Yeah, I'm super excited about this series. If you don't know what it is about, Ellingham Academy is a famous private school in Vermont founded by an early 20th century tycoon for the best and brightest students around. When Ellingham's wife and daughter are kidnapped, and the only clue was a mocking riddle listing methods of murder signed with a frightening pseudonym, Truly Devious, their disappearance became one of the great unsolved crimes in history. Many years later, true crime aficionado Stevie Bell is set to begin her first year at the academy, and she is determined to solve this cold case. That is, she will solve it when she gets a grip on her demanding new school life and her housemates. The inventor, the novelist, the actor, the artist, and the jokester. But Truly Devious makes a surprise return. The past has crawled out of its grave and someone has gotten away with murder. So this is just like a murder mystery. I think this is, I'm like really excited about it. I hope it lives up to the hype. She truly is hyped up. I'm obviously not going to read the synopses of these because they will have spoilers, so we don't want that. The other books I got from Amazon are the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. If you watch Jaleesa, Bounded and Bookmarked, she always talks about this series, one of her favorite series. When each summer begins, Belly leaves her school life behind and escapes to Cousins Beach, the place she had spent every summer of her life. Not only does the beach house mean home away from home, but her favorite people are there. Susanna, her mother's best friend, and her sons, Conrad and Jeremiah. Belly has been chasing Conrad for as long as she can remember. And more than anything, she hopes this summer will be different. Despite distractions from a new guy named Cam and lingering looks from Conrad's brother Jeremiah, Belly's heart belongs to Conrad. Will he offer his to her? Will this be the summer that changes everything? I just feel like this is gonna be like a cute little read. It's not like super long, and I kind of feel like I am gonna maybe leave this until summer, or like, yeah. I don't know about summer, that's pretty far away, but like closer to summer, because I don't know, I feel like it'd be the right vibe. Then there's also It's Not Summer Without You and We'll Always Have Summer. That's everything I got from Amazon. I forgot I got this book from Walmart, and I forgot to take the sticker off, but this is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. I got this book from Walmart, like I said, and it was 40% off. I was there for getting makeup for a video for my other channel, and I was like, oh, I'll just look at books, you know. And then I saw this when I was 40% off. So it's really bothering me, the stickers on there, but I don't have nails to pull this off. So I'm gonna have to wait for someone else to come home. With her newly completed PhD in astronomy in hand, Grace Porter goes on a girls' trip to Vegas to celebrate. She's a straight-A, hardworking, high achiever. She is not the kind of person that goes to Vegas and gets drunkenly married to a woman whose name she doesn't know, until she does exactly that. This one beautiful, spontaneous moment appends Grace's carefully laid life plans. Staggering under the weight of her parents' expectations and a struggling job market and feelings of burnout, Grace flees her home in Portland for a summer in New York with a wife she barely knows. In New York, she's able to ignore all the constant questions about her future and falls hard for her creative and gorgeous wife. But when reality comes crashing in, Grace must face what she's been running from all along: the fears that make us human and the need for connection, especially when navigating the messiness of adulthood. So I've just heard so many good things about this book, and I mean, getting it for 40% off was pretty good. I'm really excited about it. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I also got a book from Costco, so sometimes they have really good books there and sometimes it's just like, but this one I thought sounded interesting. Waiting for a Star to Fall by Carrie Clare, I think. The ending is cut off by the price tag, but yeah, I got this for $13 at Costco. The tagline says, "Just how much are you willing to forgive in the name of love?" So from the thing, I think it's a romance, and I'm really bad for just staying in the mystery, thriller, YA, murder mystery, all that box. I'm pretty bad for that, so I'm trying to step out of it. This haul will not show you that, really. There's only a few things that aren't, but if you want to recommend me anything from a different genre, I will put it on my list. There's just so many good thrillers out there and mysteries out there that it's really hard to like branch out. Brooke has long been caught in the orbit of Derek, a rising political superstar. First he was her boss, and then they were friends, and she became his confidant, the one person he shares everything with. And even though she had feelings for him, he's charming and handsome, respected and beloved. She never dreamed he'd feel the same way. Derek is so much older and could have anyone he wants. Turns out that who Derek wants is Brooke, and suddenly none of the reasons they shouldn't be together matter. They fall in love, and even though Brooke has to keep their relationship a secret, stealing weekends away from him, late nights with takeout after long days at work, and business trips that are always romantic whirlwinds, being close to him and her dreams of their future make everything worth it. But Derek becomes embroiled in a scandal, the kind Brooke never could have imagined he'd be involved in, and she is forced to re-examine their relationship and make sense of the man she loves. So I just thought this was like gonna be like, it just reminded me of Scandal, like the show. So I like that show, so I thought I would try this out. Most of these books I've showed so far are like under 300 pages, so I feel like I could get through a bunch of these in a month. I've never heard of it before, and the cover is gorgeous. I don't think I showed it well enough, but this is so pretty, and then I love these two colors together. Gorgeous. So I'm very excited to try this out. I forgot this. I also got this from Amazon. It's We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I already read this, so it was like tucked away with books I already read. I read this in February, so if you want to hear my thoughts on it, I'll link my February wrap-up. But like, I'll just tell you, I don't like this book, so it's kind of a waste, but now I can tell you guys to not waste your time on this, because I know it's super hyped, and that's what I bought into, the hype, and it wasn't worth it. I almost forgot about this one. It's forgettable. I think I have all of the books I've bought in the past couple months, but who knows. So next I have the guest list from Lucy Foley. I got it for $20 from Chapters. It's got like the deckled edges or whatever. I don't actually know what these are called. I've heard like a decent amount of hype about this. It also says it's in Reese's book club, so I didn't know it was. I did not know that that wasn't a sticker, so I kind of wish I would have found one without that. I thought that was a sticker. It's the wedding of the year, but someone won't survive it. On a remote island off the coast of Ireland, guests gather to celebrate the wedding of Jewell, Keegan, and Will Slater. Will is a rising television star, handsome and charming. Jewell is a smart, ambitious magazine publisher. Though the sea is a little choppy and the self-service spotty, their wedding is everything you'd expect of a young power couple. Designer dress, 4-tiered cake, whiskey, vintage champagne. Every detail has been curated to perfection. All that's left to orchestrate is the happiness. But perfection is for plans, and people are too human. It's not long after the cake is cut and the champagne popped that resentments and petty jealousies come out. Worse yet, the latest barometer reading shows the weather has shifted from fair to changeable, and dark clouds are looming overhead. Everyone on the island has a secret, everyone has a motive, and someone won't leave this wedding alive. It's just like a typical murder mystery. Does that give away who gets murdered? I think that gives away who's murdered. I just thought this sounded good. Behind the Red Door by Megan Collins. So I've never heard of this book, but I do my browsing when I'm in chapters in Indigo, and I always end up getting books that I've never heard of, even though I have a list of 1,000,000 books that I need to buy from recommendations from BookTube and like just whatever, or books from authors I already like. But I found this one when I was just looking in the fiction section, and I thought it sounded so cool. So when Fern Douglas sees the news about Astrid Sullivan, 34-year-old missing woman from Maine, she is positive that she knows her. Fern's husband is sure it's because of Astrid's famous kidnapping, an equally famous return 20 years ago. But Fern has no memory of that, even though it happened an hour outside her New Hampshire hometown. And when Astrid appears in Fern's reoccurring nightmare, one in which a girl reaches out to her pleading, Fern fears that it's not a dream at all, but a memory. Returning to her childhood home to help her father pack for a move, Fern purchases a copy of Astrid's recently published memoir, a book that the media speculates has provoked her original kidnapper to abduct her again. With the help of her psychologist's father, Fern digs deeper, hoping to find evidence that her connection to Astrid can help the police locate her. But when Fern discovers more about her own past than she ever bargained for, the disturbing truth will change both women's lives forever. So I thought that was like kind of cool. Psychic kind of book, or like she was also kidnapped. Those are my two theories. But I guess her dad would probably know that she was also kidnapped. I'm thinking of all these theories, but I don't want to say them out loud, so I'm actually really excited to read this because, I don't know, that sounds pretty gripping to me. I don't know, I've never heard of it, thought it would be cool. I'll read it in the next few months, so watch out for my wrap-ups, and I'll let you know my thoughts on it. I only went there for Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I did a reading vlog on A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, so the first book, this is the sequel to that book. And I actually was gonna put this book in a reading vlog as well, but the ending of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder isn't like a cliffhanger, so I didn't really feel like I needed to read this book right away, mess up my TBR, whatever. But I am gonna read this in April, do another reading vlog for this book. If you haven't read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, just skip like 30 seconds, okay? Pip is not a detective anymore. With the help of Robbie Singh, she released a true crime podcast about the murder case they solved together last year. Though the podcast went viral, Pip insists that her sleuthing, I can't say that word, days are behind her. But when someone she knows goes missing and the police won't do anything, Pip has no choice but to investigate. Jamie Reynolds disappeared on the very same night the town hosted a memorial for the 6-year anniversary of the deaths of Andy Bell and Saul Singh. It has to be more than a coincidence. To track Jamie down, Pip follows a trail of clues, uncovering more of her town's dark secrets along the way. And this time, everyone is listening. But will she find him before it's too late? Bum, bum, bum. Also, this one is so gorgeous. Love that. Good Girl's Guide to Murder is black and red, which is also very pretty. I'm very excited to read it. I've heard lots about it. It's a hefty book. Anxious People by Fredrik, Backman. I've heard people say this book and that it was good, but when I picked it up in the store, I realized I didn't actually know what it was about. Looking at real estate isn't usually a life or death situation, but an apartment open house becomes just that when a failed bank robber bursts in and takes a group of strangers hostage. Each of them carries a lifetime of grievances, hurts, secrets, and passions that are ready to boil over. None of them is entirely who they appear to be, and all of them, the bank robber included, desperately crave some sort of rescue. As the authorities and the media surrounds the premises, these reluctant allies will reveal surprising truths about themselves and set in motion a chain of events so unexpected that even they can hardly explain what happens next. So apparently this is a poignant comedy about a crime that never took place. A would-be bank robber who disappears into thin air and 8 extremely anxious strangers who find they have more in common than they ever imagined. So I thought this was supposed to be a crime book, but apparently it's funny. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this. I picked up a romance. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. So I've heard, and it says on here, that it's supposed to become a movie. So I kept looking at like the Brown Sister series, and I want to get it, but I already had like 3 books, so I figured I'd get this one because it's going to be a movie. So I don't know when the movie's coming out, so I just would like to read it before the movie comes out. Lucy Hutton and Joshua Templeman hate each other. Not dislike, hate. And they have no problems displaying their feelings through a series of ritualistic, passive-aggressive maneuvers as they sit across from each other. Executive assistants to co-CEOs of a publishing company. Lucy can't understand Joshua's joyless, uptight, meticulous approach to his job. Joshua is clearly baffled by Lucy's overly bright clothes, quirkiness, and Pollyanna attitude. Now that they are up for the same promotion, the battle of wills has come to a head, and Lucy refuses to back down when the latest game could cost her her dream job. But the tension between Lucy and Joshua has also reached its boiling point, and Lucy is discovering that maybe she doesn't hate Joshua, and maybe he doesn't hate her either, or maybe this is just another game. That's sorry. That's such a fun little, I love rom-coms, and that's just what, that's this book, so I'm really excited to read this actually. And then it'll be a movie. Let me just rant quickly. My favorite book from 2020 was The One by John Mars. I've watched 2 episodes of the show, and it's so bad when I'm like, it's so untrue to the book in the first 2 episodes that it just makes me so mad. I'm gonna finish it, gonna test it out, but I'm so upset right now at the point that I'm at, and I'm watching it so slowly because it's not like gripping me like the book was. Last one I got from Chapters and Indigo is The Initial Insult by Mindy McGinnis. Like, how pretty is that? So I found this when I was looking at like a bunch of different books that had been recommended on BookTube and stuff, and yeah, I've never heard of this book. Okay, I didn't see that before. Anyways, this was in the teen section or whatever of Chapters. Welcome to Amontillado. I don't know how to say that. I know. Where your last name is worth more than money and secrets can be kept for a price. Tress Monter knows that her family used to mean something until she didn't have family anymore. When her parents disappeared 7 years ago while driving her best friend home, Tress lost everything. The entire town shuns her now that she lives with her drunken, one-eyed grandfather at what locals refer to as the White Trash Zoo. Felicity Tornado has it all, looks, money, and a secret. She knows that one misstep could send her tumbling from the top of the social ladder, and she's worked hard to make everyone forget that she was with the Monters the night they disappeared. Felicity has buried what she knows so deeply that she can't remember what it is, only that she can't look at Tress without feeling shame and guilt, but she'll have to. Tress has a plan. A Halloween costume party at an abandoned house provides the ideal situation for Tress to pry the truth from Felicity, brick by brick, as she slowly seals her former best friend into a coal chute. Tress will have her answers or settle for revenge. I've read all this in the store, but it says in the first book of this duology. Yeah, so it just sounded like a teen mystery kind of thing that I really like. I assume that's because of the white trash zoom. I don't know, but I'm probably gonna read this soon because this is like right down my alley. So finally we have my book. If you've never ordered from them, I definitely recommend checking them out. Like, you literally get books for, oh, there's my cat. You literally get books for so cheap, and it's so worth it. First I have Her Every Fear by Peter Swanson. So I read my first and only book from Peter Swanson last year, and I really liked his writing. Kate Pretty was always a bit neurotic, but after an ex-boyfriend kidnapped her, her bouts of anxiety began exploding into full-blown panic attacks. When Corbin Dell, a cousin in Boston, suggests the two temporarily swap apartments, Kate agrees, hoping the time away will help her overcome the past traumas of her life. But at Corbin's apartment, Kate discovers that a neighbor, a young woman, has been murdered. When the police question her, Kate has a few answers, but many questions of her own. And her curiosity intensifies when she meets Alan, a handsome tenant who lives across the courtyard. Then she runs into a man claiming to be the dead woman's old boyfriend. Corbin calms Kate's nerve until she comes across disturbing objects hidden in the apartment. Could Corbin really be a killer? And what about Alan? Kate finds herself drawn to him, but she can barely trust herself, let alone a stranger she's just met. The danger, Kate imagines, isn't nearly as twisted as what is about to happen when her every fear becomes real and much closer than she thinks. Okay, that sounds so good. I think I got another one from him, maybe not. Then I also got Before She Knew Him from Peter Swanson. So this one says, Hen and her husband Lloyd have settled into a suburban house outside of Boston. Hen, short for Henrietta, is an illustrator and has set up a studio nearby where she can focus on her craft. After a few exhausting years of trial and error, she's found the right meds to control her bipolar disorder. Finally, she's found some stability and peace to do what she loves, create. They meet the couple next door, and that calm begins to erode when she spots a familiar object in the husband's office. It looks exactly like a piece of evidence connected to a killing that happened years ago. Hen recognizes it instantly because she long had a fascination with this unsolved murder, an obsession she doesn't talk about anymore, but she can't fully shake either. Could her neighbor Matthew be the killer? Or is this the beginning of another psychotic episode like the one she suffered in college, when she became so consumed that she ended up hurting someone? The more Hen observes Matthew, the more she suspects he's planning something truly terrifying, yet no one will believe her. Then one night, when she comes face to face with Matthew in the dark, she realizes that he knows she's been watching him, and she really is onto him, and that this is the start of a nightmare she may not live to escape. So, bum, like, what? That sounds so good. Also sounds like I'm probably gonna be scared. I love these kind of books, but sometimes I read them at night, and I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Then we have Never Have I Ever, Jocelyn Jackson. I don't know if that's how you say it. Amy Way is proud of her ordinary life and the simple pleasures that come with it. Her greatest joy is her family, her devoted professor husband, her spirited 15-year-old stepdaughter, her adorable infant son. But Amy's sweet, uncomplicated life begins to unravel when the mysterious Angelica Rose, I don't know how to say her last name, arrives on her doorstep one book club night. Sultry and magnetic, Angelica keeps the wine flowing and lures the group into a game of spilling secrets. Everyone thinks it's naughty, harmless fun, only Amy knows better. Something wicked has come her way. A she-devil in a pricey red sports car who seems to know the terrible truth about who she is and what she once did. When they're alone, Angelica tells her that if she doesn't give her what she wants and what she deserves, she will make Amy pay for her sins, one way or another. To protect her family and the life she's built, Amy must beat the devil at her own clever game, matching wits with Angelica in an escalating war of hidden past and unearthed secrets. Amy knows the consequences. If she can't beat Angelica, what terrifies her is everything she could lose if she wins. So I thought this was like kind of fun, like, oh hello, my cat. Well, it reminded me of Sharon LaPena, I don't know how to say her name. I've read a decent amount of her books and it kind of reminded me of that. So just like a suburban housewife mystery. I don't know. I thought it sounded interesting. 4 more books. The Mother-in-Law by Sally Hepworth. I swear I've heard of this book. I don't know where I heard it from, but I swear I've seen someone on BookTube or something talk about it. But it says, from the moment Lucy met her husband's mother, she knew she wasn't the wife Diana had envisioned for her perfect son. Exquisitely polite, friendly, and always generous, Diana nonetheless kept Lucy at arm's length despite her desperate attempts to win her over. And because she was a pillar in the community, an advocate for female refugees, and a woman happily married for decades, no one had a bad word to say about Diana, except Lucy. That was 5 years ago. Now, Diana is dead, a suicide note found near her body claiming that she no longer wanted to live because of the cancer wreaking havoc inside her. But the autopsy finds no cancer. It does find traces of poison and evidence of suffocation. Who could possibly want Diana dead? Why was her will changed at the 11th hour to disinherit both of her children and their spouses? And what does it mean that Lucy isn't exactly sad she's gone? Fractured relationships and deep family secrets grow more compelling with every page. Yeah, I just thought that sounded cool. Because you're gonna think it's one person and then it's gonna be someone completely out of nowhere. Oh, I just saw it has a 10 years later jump. Interesting. Oh, and it says the past, so it's like a time jumpy kind of book. So that's fun. I'm excited to read this. I don't know, I think family drama is kind of fun in books. The Last Time I Saw You by Liv Constantine. So I read this and it like sounds kind of like Pretty Little Liars. Well, I didn't read this, but I read the thing. Dr. Kate English has it all. Not only is she the heiress to a large fortune, she has a gorgeous husband and daughter, a high-flying career, and a beautiful home anyone would envy. But all that changes the night Kate's mother, Lily, is found dead, brutally murdered in her own home. Heartbroken and distraught, Kate reaches out to her strange best friend, Blair Barrington, who rushes to her side for the funeral, where the years of distance between them are forgotten in a moment. That evening, Kate's grief turns into horror when she receives an anonymous text. You think you're sad now, just wait. By the time I'm finished with you, you'll wish you had been buried today. More than ever, Kate needs her old friend's help. Once Blair decides to take the investigation into her own hands, it becomes clear that all is not as it seems in Baltimore high society. As infidelity, lies, and betrayals come to light, the tensions rise to a boiling point. Blair begins to alienate Kate's friends and relatives with her relentless accusatory questions. Lily's killer could be anyone, friend, neighbor, loved one, but whoever it is, it's clear that Kate is next on the list. So yeah, like Pretty Little Liars for adults. Because it's literally like, get a text, don't tell the police, try and figure it out by themselves without the police. So I just thought this would be an interesting, like very similar to Pretty Little Liars, which I'm reading and is one of my favorite TV series. So I thought this sounded interesting. Last night I saw this in the box and I thought this was a snake, but it's definitely a necklace. 2 more books, and both of these books I've actually heard of before I hadn't gotten them. American Royals by Katherine Mcgee. Now I did not realize it was this hefty of a book. I thought she was a small book, 450 pages. I mean, could be longer, but I thought this was like gonna be like a 300-page book at most if America were to have a royal family. So it says, like most royal families, the Washingtons have an heir and a spare. Each child knows exactly what is expected of them, but these aren't just any royals. They're American. As Princess Beatrice gets closer to becoming America's first queen, the duty she has embraced her entire life suddenly feels stifling. Nobody cares about the spare except when she's breaking the rules, so Princess Samantha doesn't care much about anything either, except the one boy who is off limits. Then there's Samantha's twin, Prince Jefferson. If he'd been born a generation earlier, he would have stood first in line for the throne. But the new laws of succession make him third. Most of America adores their handsome prince, but 2 very different girls are vying to capture his heart. So yeah, it's like basically if America Had Royals. I just thought this would be fun, like little light-hearted book. It says it's from Target, which I got it off the Canadian book outlet, and we don't have Target, so I don't know if they got it from America. The final book in this book haul, which I just know is going to be so long, The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. So I've read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, so I was very excited to read this one. I know she has another book that came out, I don't know if it came out recently, but soon after her 25th birthday, Libby Jones returns home from work to find the letter she's been waiting for her entire life. She rips it open with one driving thought: I am finally going to know who I am. She learns not only the identity of her parents, but also that she is the sole inheritor of an abandoned mansion on the banks of the Thames of London's fashionable Chelsea neighborhood. The home, even in its dilapidated state, I don't know what that word is worth millions. Everything in Libby's life is about to change. What she doesn't know is that others have been waiting for this day as well, and although they've been in hiding, they are now heading her way. Nearly 25 years ago, police were called to 16 Shine Walk with reports of a baby crying. When they arrived, they found a healthy 10-month-old safe and sound in the upstairs bedroom. In the kitchen, 3 dead bodies, all dressed in black, were seemingly posed next to a hastily scrawled note. The 4 other children reported to live in Shine Walk were gone. I think this sounds good. I definitely think Then She Was Gone sounds better, but I like the way she writes, so. But that's finally the end of this book haul. Hopefully it's not too long. I mean, I like long book hauls, but I don't know if I was good at describing these books or anything, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. If you've read any of these books, let me know your opinions on them. If you've bought any books recently, let me know what they are. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Again, comment all that down below. Turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from me. Check out my other channel if you want. I'll try and remember to link it in the description. I always forget. I will see you in my next video. Bye!